Detrás de ti, imbécil!
Did you just parry my bullet with a sword?
Yep. I don't even own a sword, so I don't know where that came from.
Okay. I'm not doing this. Goodbye. Goodbye.
What was this problem? Resident Evil is a beloved franchise by Capcom and is by far one of the greatest franchises in video game culture globally. So it's no surprise that we are now on to the 9th title in the mainline series. With all the hype surrounding this game, having finally played it, it's okay. I like it. It's not a masterpiece, but it is definitely a great game.
No buts!
The game feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. It definitely has this action-oriented power fantasy, but they also wanted to have their cake and eat it and added survival horror with nail-biting segments. You play as Grace through most of the horror stuff, and it feels amazing to play those segments when you're skulking around and you're choosing which zombies to engage and which ones to avoid. This gives the game a level of gameplay that feels familiar to Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Leon's side of the story, however, is a severe tonal shift as he blows past the horror and roundhouse kicks his way onto the scene. He has more weapons and arsenal to choose from, in direct contrast to Grace, which makes it feel like a completely different game. More Resident Evil 5 than 4, because the octane is definitely kicked up to 12. It is amazing to see. The gunplay and movement feel good. If you liked the first-person movements from Resident Evil 7 and 8, you'll enjoy the first-person movement here. And if you enjoyed the third-person movement in Resident Evils 2, 3, and 4, you'll definitely enjoy that movement here as well. The game does give you options to use both or just one, so it's definitely up to preference. And you can tell that the RE engine is pulling some weight. The visuals look stunning, the environments look great, the water looks like wet. I don't know what that means, but water is wet. The environments that feel new are new, and the nostalgic locations have small details and things to find in the world, especially for those who played some of the original RE titles. Tofu? Tofu, is that you? Tofu! You see him? Did you see him? Did you see him? Die. You can't not have seen him that time. This does not, however, mean the game is flawless.
This is blasphemy! This is madness!
There are moments when I encountered some visual glitches, and hit detection from the environment can get in your way more than you would like. The BOWs aren't as interesting. A lot of the game does feel like a sack of member berries.
Oh, hi, Member. Yeah. Remember, Alex? Remember?
Of course, this is me just nitpicking and wishing the game had picked a better way to progress the world lore. The reveal of Sherry Birkin was underwhelming, as she is reduced to basically a handler like Hunnigan, but we know she's a field operative because Resident Evil 6 is a game that exists. So why use her as a handler when you could have easily just replaced Grace with Sherry? I feel like Sherry would have made more sense to use instead of Grace. But I get that they're trying to revitalize the series, so maybe there was some conversation around that. Now, I have to address my real gripe with the lore inconsistencies.
My mom wants me to become an orphan.
Nerd!
This is going to be the part of the video where I rant about things that some of you may not care about. But I saw it. Now I gotta say something. So we find out that the virus in this game is a mutated strain of the T virus, which every survivor from Raccoon City is suffering from, but there's quite a few problems with that. First, besides the vial that Ada Wong stole, Leon and Sherry Birkin never were exposed to the T virus. The virus they were exposed to was the G virus, which was what William Birkin was working on. And it would make more sense if it was Chris, Jill, and Rebecca Chambers who would be affected, since they were the ones who were actually exposed to the T virus in the Spencer Mansion up in the Arklay Mountains. Number 2, they retconned the events that transpired in Resident Evil 2 to fit their narrative better. Instead of Claire's campaign A being the canonical setting for how to play that game, you would play Claire's campaign A, then Leon's campaign B, and that was canonically from the original game RE2 back in 1998 the way it was supposed to go. Thanks to a cutscene where Leon enters the city and meets Martin Branagh first, after Martin Branagh saves him by pulling him through the shutter, we know that Leon was the first one to make contact with Martin, not Claire. So that means Leon came in through the front. So Leon A's campaign is now the canonic way this all progressed. It was a retcon that didn't need to happen. They also retconned and rewrote Lord Oswald E. Spencer from an old man who wanted to be God to an old man who in his old age regretted his decisions and having developed the progenitor virus in a bid for immortality, instead of being this old man that even in his last dying breath, the only real regret that he had was that he couldn't finish his work in becoming a god.
The new superior breed of humans, given birth by the progenitor virus. The Wesker children were entrusted with endless potential. Of them, only one survived. You.
Are you saying I was manufactured?
I was to become a god. Creating a new world with an advanced race of human beings. However, all was lost with Raccoon City. Despite that setback, your creation still holds great significance. Now my candle burns dimly. Ironic, isn't it? For one who has the right to be a god. To face his own mortality.
The right to be a god. That right is now mine. The right to be a god. You. Arrogant even until the end. Only one truly capable of being a god deserves that right.
And was proud and succeeded in developing a superhuman through Albert Wesker. He's not just a regretful old man that takes in orphans and made a cure for the T-virus in a bid to ask for forgiveness from the world. They both confirm and not confirm that the spin-off game Resident Evil Outbreak is now apparently canon, as Alyssa Ashcroft is a character that appears in that game. However, in-game, they have a list of Raccoon City survivors that escaped the city and died from the exposure of the mutated T-virus, but none of those names match up to the survivors of Resident Evil Outbreak. So they missed an opportunity there, and I feel like they could have done more with that. If that's what they were going to do, there was more they could have done with that. Number 5, the ARC facility being underneath the same orphanage and just maybe a couple blocks away from the other facility in Resident Evil 2 is, and remaining somehow completely intact and viable even after being nuked, is completely absurd. I can't mind physics, mind jump my way through this one. That one doesn't make any fucking sense. And 6, and honestly, the most frustrating tidbit I found of all, is that apparently the nuke was never launched by the US government to destroy Raccoon City. Error. No. They apparently the lore that they did that to hide their involvement actually never had anything to do with the government. That's right. Apparently, the Pentagon has no record of an order to nuke Raccoon City. As if we don't have a canon event of the previous president during the events of Resident Evil 2 having been involved with the connections, and despite needing multiple channels of security to clear before nuclear action can be cleared on US soil, no such action was ever done by the US government. It was never actually the Pentagon, apparently. I don't know how that happens. Maybe Japan thinks that the US can just fire nukes on the US populace whenever it wants to. But there's literally layers and layers of red tape and security and authorizations that need to happen before you can just completely erase the city off the map. It is utterly unrealistic. This retconning is probably the most oversighted of them all, basically reducing the US government to like this.
Homer, do not press the core destruct button. Press destruct button.
All these retcons feel like Capcom is trying to rewrite the events to better fit their new narrative. Whereas previous writers were focused on a fight between right and wrong, good and evil, the newer writers, it feels more like they want shades of gray by giving some characters redeeming qualities and playing fast and loose with morality. Yes, Gideon is an evil scientist, but look, he cures cancer patients. Aww. Look, it's Oswald E. Spencer. It's Oswald E. Spencer. Look, it's Zeno. Zeno's a... who the fuck is Zeno? That's Wesker. That's Wesker. Ah, yes. The money behind Gideon and his research is from a man named Zeno, with the same powers and abilities and look as Wesker. Albert Wesker. Who is he? Where did he come from? Why he's here? What's his deal? No one knows. No one knows. He dies off just as quick as he got here. All we know is that he's working for and either with a syndicate, a criminal syndicate that controls most of the world, only known as the Connections, which have a hand in all the games apparently, even the downfall of Umbrella and the like the upscale of Tricell and the BSAA and the U.S. government, and honestly, the connections is like your Deus Ex Machina. At some point, they're just gonna have to fucking do something about it, because they've built this entity up for a couple of games now, and I just know the payoff isn't gonna be as good as I want it to be. Besides all these egregious retcons and sloppy story reworking, what else did this game do wrong? Honestly, nothing much. Really, the game, despite being a little short on the short side and being a little tonally whiplash between switching from Grace to Leon and back, it's excellent. The level design, the sound design, Raccoon City looks incredible for how devastated and run down it's been for years from exposure and non-maintenance. The game feels good, and the inventory doesn't feel limiting, even though when you're playing as Grace, you start off with only maybe 8 boxes. You quickly find hip pouches scattered all over the levels, which increase your inventory size, so you never feel like you are running out of space. The game's very good at space management and inventory management. As well as Leon, there's also a increase to his case, so you have more things to more space to carry things around and more things to do. The crafting for Grace is limited, but everything she can make is highly versatile. You can use it on the BOWs, you can use it on the regular zombies, you can use it on the mutated variants of the zombies. So there's never something that's in her inventory that feels useless. There may not be a use for it immediately, but there's always a use for it at some point. Whereas Leon's crafting really feels like it was relegated to just ammo and grenades. The flash grenades don't make her resurface. Incendiaries don't make her resurface. Those were given to Grace in full of Molotovs, which she can make from her own blood. That's, I guess. The parry system makes a comeback, and it feels good. If you like the parry system in Resident Evil 4 and enjoyed it, what it brought to the game, you'll enjoy it here, as Leon has now an indestructible axe you can just keep sharpening to parry with. So no more breaking your knife and having to find it or repair it. Although it does make some fights and enemies feel less threatening and easier to handle if I just parry them. So all in all, the game is really good, although it does feel like a very much confused and conflicted game. It's a fantastic game that I will enjoy replaying anytime. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. If you like this video and want to see more content like it, leave a like and comment down below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. Any interaction with the channel really helps out, guys. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky.